you are, Charles. Today's batch reports.
Oh, thank you, Jackie. No peace for the wicked.
By the way, how's Jeff doing?
Jeff? Oh, my Jeff?
Yes, with his exams.
Oh, don't ask. You really don't want to know.
I'm his godmother, Charles. Of course I want to know.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jackie. Well, to tell you the truth, I'd like to know what's going on too.
Tell me about it.
Well, it's the old cliché, although I never thought it would happen to us.
Ah, you don't talk to each other.
Oh, the odd grunt when I ask him to pass the marmalade, or he wants to borrow the car to go to the football club.
Charles, this is not unusual. This is one of the mysteries of male testosterone.
I guess so. It's just that things are getting a bit critical on the exam front, and I feel as if I'm letting him down.
Just worried about his A-levels.
Well, I feel so powerless. I mean, what do I know about French literature and sociology?
You've got a degree.
Yes, in engineering. We're like two aliens passing in space. We barely connect on anything.
Charles, this is absolute nonsense. There's a lot you can give him at a time like this.
Well, apart from the car, I'd like to know what.
Well, for instance, you know how to pass exams. You did it all at his age and you ended up with a good degree. Tell him about that. About the fears, the uncertainties, the excitement of passing. You don't have to be a subject expert. Just a fellow human being who's gone through the same mill.
Yes, but if I start lecturing him, he'll start grunting again.
So, who does he listen to?
Well, certainly not his mother. His mates, maybe. And, what, the coach at the football club?
Charles, I think it's about time you became his coach.
Oh, I don't know if I could do it.
It's worth a try. It's an important match for him.
Yes, I suppose I owe it to his godmother to give it a try.
Good.
Right. Thanks. Cheers. Yep. Bye. So, come on, tell me, Susan. How was the date last night?
No, you guess.
Oh, okay. Let's see. You spent 2 hours getting ready. New outfit. Fixed your hair.
You like the color?
I love it.
Go on.
He picked you up in his Mercedes and whisked you off to a champagne bar for cocktails, the best in town.
Of course.
He amused you with his witty banter that sparkled like the chilled bubbly.
Go on.
What happened next? Oh, of course, the play was hilarious, but in an intellectual way, and you both laughed at the same jokes. Then on to an intimate, relaxed, yet obscenely expensive restaurant where he revealed his sensitive nature and explained how he's been too busy building his personal fortune to consider marriage.
Or any steady relationship.
Then back to his penthouse apartment overlooking the river in a fashionable but bohemian neighborhood.
Darling, his paintings were to die for.
And he ravished you 4 times.
5. But who's counting?
And in each other's arms, you watched the dawn rise over the waking city.
A true meeting of souls.
So how close was I?
Uncannily accurate.
Really?
Right up to the point where I colored my hair.
Get away. Now, what was he really like?
Jenny, he was worse than the last one. I tell you, he was so odious, he made Mike look fanciable.
Morning, Mike.
Oh, my God. Good game?
Nigel beat you, did he?
He got lucky.
That's the 4th week in a row. Would that I had his luck.
You should try some coaching. My coach is brilliant. He's done wonders for my game.
Jenny, we may use the same shaped racket. We might even play in the same club. But there the similarity between your game and my game ends. I don't think I need to employ the services of a ladies' squash coach just yet.
Some people you just can't help.
Well, so come on, tell me, what really happened?
Oh, Charles, you'll like the story. I got it from Roger.
Roger? Roger who?
You know, Roger, what's his name, from Whitney's.
Oh, Roger White.
Yeah, that's the guy. Anyway, he tells us a story about a guy who used to work for a company that made satellites.
Whitneys don't make satellites.
It's a story, Charles. I wish I'd not started now.
You wish.
Well, anyway, this satellite company couldn't get a component to work under test conditions, and the launch was only 2 months away.
Yes, I see.
So this guy gets in touch with a boffin who's literally a rocket scientist. They talk about the problem over the phone, and he offers to fly out that night, spend the next working day analysing the problem. He's even prepared to drop his timetable until they get it right. All he needs is an air ticket, oh, and a sleeping bag so that he can doss down in the office. Now, of course, my guy is absolutely delighted.
Who is Roger?
No, the guy in the story with a problem. He tells the boffin, yes, he's got a sleeping bag he can borrow. When can he fly out from French Guiana? So the guy replies, hell no, I'm in the States. So my guy says, so you're not working on the Ariane launch? No, I'm working on the space shuttle for NASA. Oh, there's a pause on the phone, and then my guy says, does that mean you won't be needing the sleeping bag then?
Yeah, and? Oh, I see, it's a joke. Sleeping bag. Yes, very funny, Nigel.
No, it's not just a joke. It's a story about total quality management.
Look, Nigel, I've got to rush. I've got a training session with the new boss. I daren't be late.
He didn't get it, you know.
Nigel, you're completely wasted here.
Sandy Garner works for the Digital Equipment Company in Reading, a leading computer manufacturer. She spends much of her time coaching and developing other members of staff.
My coaching style tends to be more direct than casual. It tends to be trying to bring people out of themselves in a slightly more forceful way than supportive.
Hi Donna. Hi Jackie.
Sandy.
How's it going today then?
Pretty busy actually.
Yeah? So plenty of orders coming in.
Loads
then.
of orders coming through,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm pleased to see you busy. Keep them going.
Yeah, we will.
Okay. Hi Ange. Morning Sandy. Hi Kathy. How's it
Sandy.
going?
Very well, thanks.
Is it CSF tomorrow then?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
probably a good idea if we talk about that.
Yeah.
Kathy is one of my people managers, but she also has a development requirement. She wants to move onwards and upwards in the role and career that she wants to go for. Therefore, she needed to be brought out in terms of her style and the ability for her to stand up in front of customers and be seen and heard in a particular way.
I mean, the understanding for me is that I really want you to start taking over some of the areas that I've been involved directly with before.
Yes.
So you just need to think about how you're going to come across. So do you feel comfortable with that?
Yeah, I'm fine. I think one of the problems that I have sort of struggled with a wee bit is that customers and not just customers but internal people as well are used to dealing with you. They're used to you being there and used to your approach to things, and they're not quite sure how they're going to deal with me. So that's the bit that I've got to build up my confidence with.
How do you think your confidence level is built up? How do you think that shows?
Certainly, as far as talking to customers is concerned, I've built up quite a rapport with lots of the customers now. The thing I've still got to come to grips with are the conference calls, because I haven't had any experience of those on the European side. How am I going to approach those?
When Kathy and I first began the coaching sessions, it was as part of a formal development plan process that is part of our company's processes. Now when we approach coaching sessions, they tend to be more informal. They're based on specific requirements related to the next phase of what she needs to achieve in terms of her personal development.
Coaching has certainly given me a lot more opportunities to go out and visit customers. I have a lot more confidence when I go and visit customers, and it makes the job a lot more enjoyable. I don't think everybody could make a good coach. Some people are very good at listening, and some people are very good at advising. It's good to have a combination of both to make a good coach, and Sandy's certainly got that.
The benefits that I get from particularly coaching people like Kathy who work directly for me, it means that if I'm developing her and coaching her into the role that she needs to move into, it allows me to step back and move and do things that I need to be doing for my further development. So the company actually benefits both ways.
Okay, mentoring, otherwise known as coaching. Now, I first discovered this back in the States, but basically it's an idea that goes back a long way, centuries. The ancient Greeks were especially good at it. Now, I want us first to concentrate on the basics of coaching. Starts with the art of active listening.
How long is this going to take, John? I mean, there is a business out there that requires a bit of our management time.
What's wrong with the old system of just telling people what to do?
What exactly is active listening?
Well, you can't manage a team or an organization if you don't know what's going on around you. Now, there are management reports, information systems that'll feed you numbers all day long. But they can only tell you where the business has been, either yesterday, last week, or last year. Now, management data is very poor at telling you where your business is going.
Whereas talking to the tea lady will give you an accurate projection of forward sales and profit margins.
Well, it's unlikely, but she could tell you when the sales team is in love or talking to job agencies or setting up on their own. Now, I believe that to do your job properly, you should spend at least half your time listening to what other people say.
Half? You can't be serious.
Go on. So what is active listening?
We all think that we can listen. But most of us spend the time switching our brains off or thinking about something else. Now, Mike here, he's not listening to a word I'm saying. He's thinking about what Softex are paying me to have you guys sit around here while I spout management mumbo-jumbo. Now, listening should be an active process with the objective to say as little as possible and to learn as much as you can in the fastest time.
But what does it actually mean? I mean, earlier on I was accosted by Nigel in the corridor who was mumbling about rocket ships and sleeping bags. What am I supposed to learn from his ramblings?
You know, he told me the same story when we were coming back from squash. I thought it was a joke, although it didn't seem to have a punchline.
Well, some people use stories as a way of broaching an issue that they're unhappy about dealing with head on. Yet what they have to say could be of the greatest significance.
So, what are you supposed to do?
If someone wants to talk to you, take them into an area where they won't be interrupted. Sit them down and really listen to what they have to say. Now, keep what you have to say to a minimum and concentrate.
Yes,
Let them finish, too. Very often the last words are the most important. Should we try a little exercise? Mike, do you remember the story that Nigel told you?
Yes, of course. It was only this morning. We salesmen are good listeners. After all, we have to listen to clients all day long.
Okay, Mike, you want to role play Nigel? And Jenny, you want to play Charles?
Okay. Can I borrow your glasses?
Oh.
Okay, Jenny, you're in the corridor. Nigel has something to say to you. I'll take it from there.
Come on in, Nigel. Sit down.
Well, it's not very important, but, well, I was reading this story last night.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, it's about this guy who's working for AT&T. He was working on the navigation system of a telecommunications satellite.
Oh, what was the book you were reading?
Jenny, less of the chat. You're here to listen. So show that in your body language. Don't look over his shoulder. Don't fidget with papers. Do maintain eye contact. Very important. Mike's looking for signs that you understand what he's saying.
Yes. At least try and pretend that you're interested in me.
I'm a woman. I'm good at faking interest.
Jenny.
Sorry. Nigel, you were saying?
Well, Charles, this guy I'm talking about was in a real jam. The software that's supposed to move the satellite around in space just wasn't performing. Now, there's only 2 months to the launch.
Yeah, but... sorry.
So, he gets his secretary to call up the research labs of one of their suppliers, and he talks to the head honcho. Now, he explains the problem to this rocket scientist, who immediately offers to drop everything and fly across. He'll pick up some special diagnostic equipment, cancel his wedding anniversary, and get the next plane. Now, the only thing he wants in return is a couch to sleep on while they crack the problem. Well, our guy is so happy about this that he offers to call Arthur Ford and expresses appreciation for the help. And the rocket scientist says, great, who's Arthur Ford? Our guy says, Well, he's only the chief executive of your company. And the rocket scientist is confused and says, no, our chief executive is Mr. Adler. So our guy says, this is Houston 334589. The scientist says, no, they're across the block. And our guy says, so does that mean you won't be needing the couch?
Oh, yeah.
Good. Okay, Jenny, what do you think Nigel was telling you?
I haven't a clue.
It's a cry for help.
Go on.
Well, it's obvious, isn't it? Nigel is concerned about the quality of some process or component, and he wants Charles to fly over and help him sort it out.
Well, that's ridiculous. Nigel knows that if anyone has a problem in production, all they have to do is make an appointment with Jackie and I'll order a quality audit.
So you would listen to them discuss the problem and help them find a solution?
Well, not exactly. I'd put a quality inspector on the job to find out where they're going wrong.
But they're just queuing up outside your office.
Procedures are procedures, Jenny. That's why we have a total quality management system. I can't get involved every time there's a blip in production.
How many people have come to you asking for this quality?
A quality audit? Difficult to say.
Well, in the last 6 months, for example.
Well, none have applied officially. These things tend to get sorted out at supervisor level. Or else they refer it to their managers who deal with it.
And who is the manager?
Nigel.
I think it's time you had another chat with Nigel. Now, try to show that you're really listening. And try to get inside his head and look at this quality issue from his point of view. Yeah? Be alert to what he doesn't say. Very often what's missing is more important than what's there.
Yes, I'll think about it.
Okay, that's all right for one day. Now, before we next meet, I'd like you to look at two other important issues, performance measurements and coaching skills, yeah? Now, you have videos in your packs, and there's some very good stuff in Chapter 3 of 20 Steps.
More homework. Goody. John, there is one question I'd like to ask you.
How much are Softex paying me? I like to think of my salary as an investment in the company's future.
Well, you'll excuse me while I go and work in the present.
John, is that what these training sessions are all about then? A kind of surgery for our management problems?
Well, if you want them to be.
Well, you know how last week we were talking about delegation? Well, I've started to do as you suggested, and I'm giving more over, particularly to Bob.
How you doing? I hear morale in your department's pretty strong.
Well, maybe, but it's not as easy as I thought. People enjoy the challenge, but we're getting more mistakes. Bob's fine, but some of the others, I just don't think they're up to it. I can't spend my time teaching them all the stuff they don't know. I mean, hell, there's quite a lot of stuff that even I don't know.
What kind of objectives are you setting them?
What do you mean?
Well, how do they know what they should be doing?
Well, I tell them when I want a piece of code written by and what I expect it to do. I know how long it would take me to do the job, so I give them 10% more time because they haven't got my experience.
And how do you monitor how they're getting along?
Well, I might ask them occasionally, but I generally let them get on with it.
Do you think that's fair?
Well, it's the way I've always been managed. You make sure you deliver on time, otherwise you'd be letting your team down. It's the same with any creative job. You've got to let people get on with it in their own way.
Okay, Lee, I want you to try out something for me.
What's that?
Try setting aside 1 hour at the start of the week for a performance review meeting with all your developers.
1 hour?
Sure.
What am I supposed to talk to them about for an hour?
Well, you only talk for 5 minutes. Set out the targets, first long-term, then short, then medium. Go around the group and ask them each to set their own objectives for the week. Ask them if they need any particular support. Encourage them to network with each other. Now, set goals that are stretching, because their performance will improve if you challenge them to do better than you.
But I didn't think it was good to set tough targets. I mean, don't people get demotivated?
You see, people motivate themselves. All you do is create the right atmosphere. You see, by giving them more time than you just give yourself is telling them that you don't rate them. The most important thing about goals is that they should be mutually agreed and understood. Take a look at this case study.
Hi Steve, hi Jen, how are we doing?
Chris Barry is the managing director of the Greenhouse Vauxhall dealership in Stoke-on-Trent.
Chris has helped me to achieve an enjoyment out of my job. Chris treats his business in the way that he conducts his business with people with sheer enjoyment and pleasure, and that rubs off, I think, on the whole dealership.
It's helped me to be more confident in my job and to speak to people at all levels.
To make decisions, to feel happy with that and not have to worry about making a decision, whether it's right or wrong.
The way he asks people to do things for him makes you feel like you really want to and not that you actually have to.
Lucky. I'm comfortable.
Actually, he isn't the boss, I am. He spends all day on the golf course. And I run the company.
Okay, so I do all that stuff with my guys, but how do I monitor them?
Well, you know how we agreed a weekly meeting to fix targets, yeah? Well, try setting aside another meeting at the end of the week. Less formal, perhaps, I don't know, over a beer. Go around the group. Find out how many of the week's objectives they've achieved.
What, we do this together?
Sure, positive feedback works well in the group, but go easy on the criticism. People are only too aware if they haven't achieved what they said they were going to, right?
Okay, I'll give it a bash.
You know, I can't work John Wood out. I've never come across anything like him before.
But different to old F.E., meetings with him tended to descend into an exercise in point scoring.
Oh, he was all right. At least you knew where you stood.
Oh, come off it, Mike. The guy had an ego so large there were parts of it he'd never even visited. Then, of course, you were always his blue-eyed boy.
Oh, I didn't mind him. Now, he understood sales.
Oh, yes, F.E. was fine as long as you pretended all your sales were down to him.
Yeah, he did tend to hog the glory a bit. I'd do all the work and then he'd swan in just before the client was about to sign the contract and pretend it was all his doing.
And, of course, you're not going to fall into that trap.
Actually, no. I plan to involve Rebecca more. For example, I'm putting her on that local government pitch we're doing next week.
Is that wise? I thought it was worth several million.
Yes, it is. But I'll be there to hold her hand. You know what these council boys are like. Not a lot of excitement down at County Hall. I think they'll rather take to our young Rebecca.
You better clear at the new boss.
Already have. He seemed to think it was a positive step in delegation and empowerment.
You didn't tell him that you found the most empowering thing about Rebecca was her body.
Must have slipped my mind at the time.
Yes, Jackie, can you set up a meeting with Nigel? Yes, Nigel. I want his opinion on our quality audit system. Oh, and I wonder if you could reserve me a couple of grandstand tickets for the match on Saturday. I think it's time I gave that godson of yours a break from his revision. Yes. Okay.
Ah, Mike. There you are.
What's this?
It's the phone number of my squash coach. Don't say I never do anything for you.
I told you, I doubt if your coach can teach me anything.
Suit yourself. I just thought that coaching was becoming the in thing around here.